Alright, let's start up the stream and see if this will work. Yeah, I think we're live. Alright, let's find the link and see if it works. Let's see, my channel. Yeah, there it is. Copy. Oh, people are watching already. Wow, maybe that's myself, who's watching. Could be. I hope the audio is okay. Not the ByteDelight Weekly Show. Okay, that's okay. That's exactly what I wanted. So, all right, let's put it on a timeline. I think this will work. Click, click, click. All the clicking sound. I think the camera, the mic and the camera is quite decent, so it's picking up everything. You can see it on my volume meter here that the clicking is picked up quite almost as loud as my voice. It's not my fault, but I will change it in the future. I can't change, of course, the clicking, but I can change other things like using a mic here on my shirt or something like that. That's what I'm looking for anyway. But it's not what I want to do right now. Right now I want to get working because there's so much to do. And what I did is maybe I will show it in a second because I want to wait until people are in. Otherwise I have to repeat everything, so that won't make much sense. Right, I can see myself here. So I'm moving over to that space in a moment, but I'm finishing the last harlequin kit for tonight. It seems that people, Peter just chatted. I just wanted to say, it seems that people are just watching tonight, not saying anything. And I'm not demanding that you say anything, but would make a better chat, of course, instead of the silence or just listening to what I have to say. I don't think I have that much important to say at the moment. Anyway, everyone is welcome to join tonight's work, and we'll see what we make of it tonight. We just have to continue packing because I have so many orders waiting. They're here, but I moved it on top of the names so you cannot see the names, of course. So I have a pack of almost 15 orders, and that's not even all of today because I already processed a lot. So this is the remainder. Let's move that here because it is a different kit. I can imagine that, yeah. Packing kits, right? These are actually the 48K kits. A couple of people still like them. I think more than the 128K kits, not because they don't like 128K kits, but I guess it's because Hey Ben, good evening. I guess it's because these kits just need a 48K ROM, and that's far more easy to get. I have to get some cards here. So I guess that's the reason why people still buy these, because they can play in ROM. So it seems that many people only want a kit when they can find a ROM, and I think only 1 out of 5 orders are without a ROM. So it seems people really need a ROM, especially for the 128K kits, of course. It's not very crowded, but it's no problem. Makes it possible for me to just go on working. But if you have anything to ask, to chat about or something like that, then please do. Because the silence is could be killing. And I was I always prefer having some music on, but I was just listening to State of Trance again from Armin van Buuren. I'm a bit behind with the shows from the last 3 weeks, I guess, so I'm listening now to one of end of November. But I cannot play the State of Trance when I'm streaming myself, because the video would immediately get demonetized, and I don't know what happens if I do that. Monetizing maybe not that important, but I think well, let me just say, I can use the viewing hours for the statistics. I need them to get over 4,000 annually, so that's a bit important. Hence I do not. Oh, I have a card over. Okay, that's that one. Okay. Hence I only stream with ZX Spectrum music and not anything else. And maybe that's good, because I guess everyone has their own taste of music, and if we would play State of Trance, maybe people would just stay away, of course, which is really a possibility. Alright, well, let's get the labels on tomorrow. Let's not do that right now. So I was also working on administration, as you may see here. This is one of the administration things. I was working on insurances during during the last days, so that's another reason I was very busy. Needed to sort out some new things. So about 75% of my insurance is getting changed because of ByteDelight, and take some time to get it all done. Well, what to do next? Well, let's just pick parts first. So, parts. Now you can see everything, exactly what I'm doing with producing these interfaces. So, PCBs, and the problem is I don't have the edge connectors, and I have to prepare them tomorrow. But I can pick all the parts and assemble the boards, of course. Whoops. That's 6, and it's 4. Oh, yeah, a good one. 6 cards. You may ask yourself, why do we need 6 cards? Well, that's because I always test both of the SD card slots in the FMC Pro one, so I always need 1 extra card for testing. And the 6th card is from back in the drawer here, afterwards, of course. Come on, people, ask me something. Let's chat about something. Let's chat about what I want to do with my setup for my streams. I want to have some better setup, some better lighting, some better microphone. some better desk, and not this desk, because this desk is awful for streaming, I think. So I want to be streaming like having something kind of a news desk is what I'm thinking of, and I want to use a laptop for that, and maybe work some more on paper. Oops, where did that go? And I want for the demos and reviews, live reviews. Then I want to use a real retro monitor. So I'm looking for Commodore Amiga 1084S monitor, but they are quite rare these days. Overhead cam? What do you mean? This is an overhead cam. I have this one with the working place here for later. But do you want me to zoom out? There's not much to zoom out, I think, but a bit maybe. But you want to see everything. That's what you mean, I guess. Then I have to put the camera on the ceiling, I'm afraid. I could try that, of course, but let's see, what else do I need? I think this is all for now. Yeah. One. Maybe I can put it higher. Of course, that's possible, but then you will see me from top, almost. I don't know if that's a good thing. And I need something to make the camera more stable. Let's think of something. Let's be creative. Because I don't have that much space to put a camera here. Let's see what happens if I do this. It's a bit shaky. Someone getting sick? Yeah, camera's still running. Yeah, okay, that works. Ah, that's me. Okay, we now have a bit more of an overview if I put it this way, but not much. It's I don't have a camera that with that wide angle with which you can see everything here. So I think this is about what now. It's not much more. Anyway, oh, the secondary cam. I'm doing all of this for nothing. We'll put it on in a second. Once I get to there. I need to get more parts. So the old DiffMC interface, the first version, or actually there have been 8 first versions, if I may say so, because this is the old one. I'm almost through all the PCBs, and these are still sold a lot on eBay mainly. But of course I want to get over to the Pro 1 in the future. But this one is also sold as a bare board, so without a case. So people buy this often because it has a DiffMC and a joystick interface and 2 SD cards. So if they don't want to spend more, like what is it, £60, then this is only £45 with the joystick interface. So it's a bit cheaper, and people sometimes prefer that one. Still not enough edge connectors. Anyway, let's pick the rest of the parts. So that's why I still produce them. But I want to completely get over to the Pro 1 in the future and the new Pro Minis. So the new lineup will only consist of the Pro versions in the future, of course. But not yet. You can see a bit more of the headquarters now, so it's not that bad. I also want to, I might order a HDMI capture card, but I'm afraid that they will be very expensive, because I want 4K capture card, because I really want a camera that will pick up 4K in 60 frames per second, and that might be a bit too much for my budget, but I will look it up and see if it's possible. And if that will be possible, then I can use this Brio camera for zooming in on the desk and other things. Jean-Claude, good evening. EDLD student. I have no idea who you are, but Good evening. Mike, good evening. Did I say good evening to you already? Let's see. No, I don't think so. Right, let's see, what else do I need? I'm forgetting one. I thought I had 5, but I only see 4 now. Oh, there are 5, man. Learn to count, Ben. Okay, what else do I need? I need tactile switches. Could be a good moment to assemble the LED keyboard from you, Peter, but I think I need to prioritize working on the orders first, because people are waiting. Some people are even already complaining after 2 or 3 days after I haven't heard anything about their order. So that's why I need to give it a bit priority. And they're totally right, of course, but it seems that during the holiday season, people have less patience. They really want the stuff in when they're having a holiday, of course. I can understand it. Well, actually, I cannot understand, because I don't have holiday myself anymore. I'm always working. No, just joking. Oh, Achim, it's you from Germany. Good evening and welcome. You just received your very big box this week. If it's you, I guess. Mr. Creosote? Sounds a bit familiar, but I'm not sure what, from what. Anyway, do I have everything for this one now? Yep. Alright. Box picked. And for the ZXHD, I cannot use this box because it's filled with these Raspberry Pis. So I just need something else for that. Maybe I will use it up this time. Whoa. Achim, did you already power on your Harlequin 128 in your rainbow case? I wonder, because I've seen your message, but I don't think I've read it completely yet. I will do that. But you have to first. You really had the first rainbow case with the newest Harlequin kit in, which is great. I think people really liked it a lot. The photo I posted on Facebook. I think I got over 150 likes only for the photo, so that's a lot. Imagine that what you're seeing here is about only what I sold today, because this morning I finished a batch of ZXHDs and a batch of Pro 1s, and everything was sold today. So that's a problem at the moment. And I have plenty more orders already in, so oh man, I don't think I can sleep tonight. Well, you have a unique machine then, Achim, because I think many people will like one, but it's really costly because of the work that's getting into it, and the parts needed, of course, they're not cheap. The replica case and all things. And I think you have the last shiny one, because I'm stepping over to the matted cases now, which I get from Peter, by the way. Let's see what I'm forgetting. I think this is all for now. Okay, cards, of course. So please ask anything, because I want to chat about things. Please chat. And I think I'm going to focus on assembling the Pro 1s now. And what I'm doing may look a bit strange, because this is not supposed to be assembled by hand. But let me count here. Let's do a quick count. 5. I think I've done more than 2,000 of these boards, not only the Pro 1, but including the other ones. So and that's only the storage interfaces. And so I've done lots of other things like the ZX HDs, a couple of hundred, the ZX AYs, KMOS Turbo, plus the lights. So thousands of these boards by hand. But of course the pick and place machine there will do the thing from somewhere in the beginning of next year. And that's another reason I want to completely step over to the Pro series, because I can show you guys. This board has been routed manually, so it's this size. Otherwise, it would be a lot bigger. But it's only single-sided, and that's because my production line here will be focused on assembling one side of the PCB and then putting it in the oven, which is under the desk at the moment here, because there's also a package from IKEA there, the small package there, which I need to rearrange some stuff on the desk here to be able to put the oven on the desk as well, next to the window, by the way, because the smell of the solder coming from the boards that are just assembled and being put in the oven is really terrible. So I need good ventilation, and that's why I wanted to be close to the window so I can open the window every time I'm using the oven. So I'm having tea for a change. I don't have coffee for today, and even had some beer. So I thought it was time for something else now. So let's do this. First, I always start with the 4 megahertz crystals here. Come on, guys, ask me something. I'm going to say strange things if no one helps me. You didn't want that. These crystals are really a pain in the ass because, sorry, that's YouTube unfriendly. You didn't hear me say that, I think. Only 11 people did. They're really tough to handle because they're very small and they need to be soldered on the bottom of the chip. So I always pre-solder all the pins and put them on the board with this heating gun here, which works very well. It gets to 1,000 degrees in a couple of seconds, so it's a good way of doing that. But of course, it should be done in the oven in the future. What do I need to connect the Competition Pro to the Diff MSC? Well, just Competition Pro and Diff MSC with a joystick interface. Oh, what did you dropped the screw out of a PS4 controller? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, you're looking for the screw now. Am I right? Is it an original? Is it an original PS4 controller, or is it a replica? Because I never found any good replicas of PS3 and PS4 controllers. So a Competition Pro, if you of course if you have the original one from 30 years ago, because I think the Competition Pro is also remade recently, 2 years ago something, and can be obtained in USB and with the original Atari 9-pin connector. So of course you don't want to use the USB version because there's no USB interface for the ZX Spectrum that supports something like that. But you need the original 9-pin version or the replica with the 9-pin connector. And it seems that most people prefer the Competition Pro over the arcade joystick, but I think the arcade joysticks are even better than the Competition Pros. But that's of course only my taste. But I really think these are a bit more snappier. Competition Pro felt a bit more stiff. That's how I remember it. Maybe it was only my Competition Pro joystick that I used back then that it was stiff, I don't know. But I like the arcade joysticks a bit more, and I think the arcade joysticks were originally only meant for Amigas or made for Amigas, but they work because they're pin compatible. They just work on every retro machine, and I'm not sure if they were originally only made for Amiga. I don't know. It's a replica, okay. And which one is it then, Akim? Is it the USB version or the 9-pin version then? I really wonder. In the moment I'm going to put on the heating gun here, so it could be a bit loud. I hope it's not a big problem. Okay, well, the 9-pin version, I think it should be compatible. And if you had a Pro 1 interface, so by default it's port 1 is configured as Kempson joystick, and I think port 2 is cursor joystick, if I'm not mistaken. And if you switch 3 to off, then it will be Sinclair 1 and Sinclair 2. So you have to keep that in mind when you're playing games to select the correct type of joystick in the game itself. So by default you just can select Kempson joystick and plug the joystick in port 1 and run the game. And Kempson joystick is the most used type of joystick or joystick interface for the ZX Spectrum, so most games will support Kempson joystick. Alright, that's one. Put on the live machine here. And always I need to put something below this because of the heat. The rubber mat will deform, and I had to throw a couple away in the past because I didn't use this well enough. So this is the solution for that. As you can see, it's kind of a rough process to do it this way, but it works until the pick and place machine is up and running. Well, I think there's a big market for joysticks because original joysticks are now sold for about 30 euros. Arcade joysticks or competition pros, and I think that's a ridiculous amount for an old joystick. And 20 years ago you can buy those joysticks for maybe €5 or less. Now they're asking 20 euros or 30 euros sometimes for the same joystick because of it's getting more rare these days. So I wish there was a company that could make let's say 10,000 for about €10 or something. And I think it should be possible because think of all the retro machine, how do you call it? The small ones you can just connect to your TV with the built-in joystick and built-in games. I forgot how it's called, but some of them even got a joystick included, and of course most probably that's not a micro switch joystick. But I think one of the most difficult steps to produce something like that is getting a mold for the joystick, the plastic of the joystick itself. So I would guess that if you can produce the cases, then the micro switches won't be the biggest problem, I think. Because I think you can get micro switches cheap enough, and maybe even use cheap Chinese ones as long as the joystick is maintainable, so people can replace the switches themselves or start using the joystick for a couple of years. And for about €10, I think there would be a huge market. So I'm not sure what the replica Competition Pros sold for, but I guess I'm not burning myself. But I guess the Competition Pro remake is about €30 as well, I think. So either the USB one or the... This is not a sniff video, you know? I recently viewed a terrible movie. What's it called? I don't know. I forgot the name. About someone who was making videos where they killed themselves by a fake, of course, in the videos they made. just to get more views. It was a ridiculous movie. I hated it. I'm sorry I watched it. Got 6 boards here. I need 5 of them. Okay, €30. Okay. Well, I think €30 is a decent price for a company that only sells maybe 1,000 of them. But if you can sell 10,000, and I think there's enough market for it, then it should be a bit lower. Because only plastic, a small PCB, and some micro switches, you know. So, and a cable, of course. Maybe that's the thing. The cables are. Where can you get the cables nowadays? You know. Already got hot. It's bad. It's terrible. So I think the board was not thick enough. So it's got a cone on it at the moment. It's not easy to work on that, so I'm pushing it back a bit. This is ridiculous, you know. Okay, I think it's flat again. I hope so. It's a bit warm still. Ryza, good evening. Hello. Where are you from, Ryza? So talking about joysticks. This is my daily driver, the arcade. And this is the one I like the most because it's less stiff, I think, than the Competition Pro, and I really like this one. And you got the 2-button version, but it's just the same button. It's not those are not separate fire buttons, as far as I know. But I really like the arcade joysticks more than the Competition Pros, and I have both. I think I have a drawer here with all joysticks. So lots of them, as you can see. I got a. Whoa, this is bad. It's not even a micro switch. This is a Competition Pro. It's original. Oh, it's less stiff. Oh, this is the bad one. It's very old. I don't know. Is it an original? It seems to be an original. But it doesn't feel well. Yeah, this is a prof competition. It's a remake. It's not the original. Let's see if I can find a good one original. This is an original. Yeah. But I cannot hear the micro switches. And that's one of the things maybe that why I prefer the arcades. This is one. This is. I should let you hear. I have to wait until the temperature is down. But this is one. This is an original one, but okay, it's not as stiff as I remember. But I know I like this one. I like the way I can hold this one, and it feels just feels more robust than the Competition Pro, I think. Anyway, I've got lots of other stuff here. I've got some original SES joysticks here. Quick shots, of course. Quick shot ones. Who doesn't know them? A couple of these ones. I like those. And this very strangely formed. It looks a bit like the heads of the robots from War of the Worlds. That's what this make me think of. I don't know. Ridiculous. And I've got more here. I'm not selling them. Sometimes I did sell a couple in the past with complete ZX Spectrum setups. But I'm keeping these for now. There are also some spare cables, but these are also old, so I'm not sure how long they will hold. So the cable, the plastic of the cable, the rubber is getting bad. Anyway, this is ready, I think. Yes. I like joysticks that stick to the disc. Which one? Did I have one? I don't know. Yeah, I think you're just too wild, Peter, because you just need to be careful with your joystick and hold it in your hands without breaking your disc or something. So like this. I play like this, just like an arcade, a real arcade, you know. That's why this one are called the arcade, maybe. I don't know. I haven't played that many arcades, I'm gonna be honest. But I really like the feeling of the arcade joysticks. Just my, just what I think competition pro have to hold usually is uncomfortable. Yeah, okay, well, maybe. But I don't have that much good experiences with stuff that sticks to your desk because most of the time it will get loose anyway after using it a bit. Like those steering wheels for racing games on your PC or something, or PlayStation, that you have to stick on the desk as well. Most of the time, I'm just fighting getting them, staying them at the place I mounted it. I'm not playing that much realistic racing games anyway, so. My son wants to play Forza, but I think it's way out of his league because he's used to playing Rocket League, Minecraft, and now he wants to play Forza, which I think is kind of a, what is it, a professional game? I don't know. You want to see this one? Okay, I can do that. Okay. But the camera is not that good, so I will let me just duplicate it first. Yes, duplicate. All right, and then I will make this one smaller and make this one larger maybe. Just do it this way and put this. So you see, it's not the best quality, as you can see here. It's camera's bad, but I'm not going to move the other one because it's a lot of work. Is this good enough for you guys? Can you live with this? Let's put it here. And then where is the... Oh, there it is. B. Okay. B. It's not doing anything, man. Oh, it's the wrong button. I should use T. Yes, that's it. And then T again. Why isn't it doing anything? Yeah, okay. That way then. Let's put it a bit lower. Is this better for you? Let's increase the spectrum menu. So it's definitely not a HD, but it's maybe it will work. I could maybe sharpen the picture a bit. I don't know. It's a bit too. Let's put it on automatic again. Okay, that's too. Oh, stop it. Oh, what's happening? One more. Want to see more? But it's okay. It's not getting better. Okay, what to do now? Let's increase this a bit. So yeah, okay. I think we can live with this, can't we? Most important is you still can see me. Hey, what's this? What's my leg? I think. Yeah, it's my leg. Which one is it? I'm not seeing it. Oh, of course, because it's rotated. Which part am I watching? It's so strange seeing this. Okay, anyway. Let's keep it this way and continue our journey from the Pro 1. So next part is also a bit of a hard part. Are these tiny resistor networks? They're really tiny. I want to show you. So these are, it's almost not noticeable. These are 10 resistor networks, and each of these tiny resistor networks contain 4 resistors. So imagine that. So they're really small, and of course, again, this shouldn't be done by hand. Nice. So we're trying the arcade and the competition pro then. Great. I'm really curious Hakeem, which one you think is better? But of course, it's a bit of your own taste. But I wonder which one you prefer. And I haven't actually hold one of the replica of the um, replicas of the competition pros yet. So maybe they are better than in the past, but I'm not sure. For €30, I would think there would be it should be at least the same quality as the old ones. Because I don't think €30 is cheap. Anyway, so you're playing Fortnite, Peter. Are you playing Fortnite yourself, or do you have someone over? I like Fortnite, but me and my kids stopped playing it because we had some friends that were really a bit sad that we played it and don't want to have their kid come over when we were playing it. So that's why I think they're right. It's kind of an aggressive game, you know, not that good for kids. Um, so and I don't think it's terrible that my kid now only plays Rocket League and Minecraft and some other games. So it's good. And the problem is that I think 75% of the games are shooters, and there's not much else to choose from. And in the past we had a Nintendo Wii, first one, and played a lot on it. But Nintendo really ruined everything because they pulled the plug from all server online games, which I really hate that they did that. And the only thing you could do about it is buy a Wii U. But I was really so sick of it that I decided not to play it anymore. So it's their own fault. Oh, it's your son, okay. My son is 12, so. Even my daughter is now playing Rocket League, and because I had a license that I bought myself a couple of months ago, but because I don't have the time for it, I'm not playing it a lot. My son is playing it a lot, and he's getting very good at it. He's using a PlayStation 4 controller on his PC at the moment by cable because he prefers that instead of the wireless solutions, because the wireless solutions sometimes still give some problems while playing games, and he doesn't like that at all, of course. So he's just using a cable, and he's really good at it. He now is almost wow, could you call it pro? I'm not sure. in doing aerials, so flying through the air and making goals that way. And I think Rocket League is one of the toughest games when it comes to controls, because you cannot compare it to anything else when playing it. It's really on its own when it comes to using the controls and playing it. So, yeah. Well, I have so many ideas for the SpectraNet, Mark. Good evening, by the way. And I hope there will be some online features, online gaming services in the future for the ZX Spectrum. Not only the next, but the SpectraNet as well. So for the current ZX Spectrums, that's what I wanted to say. But does the ZX Spectrum? Okay, but the ZX Spectrum next. Do you know if there is something available for using it on the internet already, Mark? Because I haven't read anything about that so far. I wonder. But I hope some people will make, for example, let's just think out loud. This morning I was thinking it would be great if you can load some loader program on your ZX Spectrum that connects to some kind of server, and from the server you will get a specific version, latest version of some online game. Of course, every online game depends on an offline client, so on the computer side. So it would be great if it was developed in a way that it will download the client software every time you connect to the server. So it can be updated from the server itself and not from your ZX Spectrum, so you don't have to install the new version of the game every time. And then you can play some games like hide and seek, for example. I don't know. It seems it will. Of course, it will start with simple things, but I guess if there will be some developers that will get into it, then maybe, for example, if we can find some people that can write some server-side code and a client for the ZX Spectrum with some cool features, then all the options are open, I think, if you ask me. It's just a matter of hosting the server somewhere, which can be, of course, a personal server at home for someone, but I think it would be better if it's hosted somewhere professionally, because the connection speed and uptime would be a bit better, maybe. But I really hope it will get it will get off the ground. You know what I mean? Like the SpaceX rockets. It will lift off SpectrumNet and ZX Spectrum Next internet features, and of course there's a big downside, and that's it, that the Spectrum Next is definitely not compatible with a lot of other features on normal ZX Spectrums, like internet, like colors and other things. So it seems that the Next is getting its own community instead of the Spectrum community embracing it. And I think many games for the Next will not be available for the ZX Spectrum itself. Some games will be, because I've been talking to some developers, or at least one, I should say. Okay, two maybe if you count Jim Beckley in that. Although I've not been talking to him personally, but I know some of the people from the past are developing games for the Next as well, which is great. Okay, someone asked, explain how you check resistors. You mean how I solder them? Well, I just solder a couple of points on the boards, and then solder the resistor network on the points that are already pre-soldered, and then put more solder on it and use my flux pen here for the rest. Can you see it? It's a Yosker flux pen. It's not the same as the normal flux that people use, that you just put on like a kind of gel on the board. But this is more of a it's a no clean version, so you can just put it on and it will evaporate in a couple of minutes. And that's why I like it, because it don't leaves any residue. It's just put on and solder the part and it's gone. So that's a good thing, I think. But they're not. They cost about €2 each. But of course you use them for a while, and I've plenty more of these in stock. And not that much, because not that many, because they dry out if you don't use them. So I always want fresh ones from China. And I only use this specific brand, so this is Yosker with a Y. And I've tried some other brands, but this is the only one I like. But it's again a personal taste, and I guess other people use different ways. For example, I'm watching the videos of my mate Vince for a while now. Have any one of you guys seen videos from my mate Vince from the UK? I guess some of you have. He's also doing a lot of soldering on PlayStations and so. And he does what he does is he tries to buy some defective retro machines mainly, and tries to fix them himself. So handhelds and PlayStation 3s and Wii's and Nintendo Switch and that kind of stuff. So also the newer things. Anyway, he buys them faulty, and he tries to repair them, and sometimes he doesn't succeed, but many times he does, because he has the patience of just continuing until he finds the cause of defect. And sometimes it can even be a chip on the board. And the thing is, he's not a pro. He's not a pro repairman or something. He just started with a very simple soldering iron, and still doesn't have a good soldering iron, because I watched a video 2 weeks ago where he was trying to remove a part with a large ground plane around it, and his soldering iron wasn't able to heat up the solder enough to remove the part. So, and of course, some other things that he still has to learn is like using new low temperature solder instead of just desoldering parts with their old lead-free solder on it. So if you put this on solder-free or lead-free solder, then it's far more easy to handle. But of course, lead-containing solder shouldn't be used for large production activities, and maybe 3,000 of these units is large, I don't know. But in the future I want to step over to lead-free solder as well, but for now this is much more easy. And I really hate the smell of the lead-free solder. I've tried it a couple of times, but in the future, everything will take place in the future. What is chip quick? Never heard of that. I don't know what it is. Alright, next part. So the crystals are on, the networks are on. It's time for the CPLDs. And I've got plenty of these, and I ordered more this morning. So it was my monthly ordering round again, which takes a couple of hours because I have to count the parts that I have in stock, and then visit many places to get all the parts, because of course modern parts you can just buy at Final or somewhere else, but all the parts are a completely different story. And sometimes I get parts from eBay, sometimes I get parts from AliExpress, sometimes I get parts from old stock suppliers. There are a couple, but I think I found a decent supplier now, because up till now they haven't sent any huge amount of defective chips. Sometimes one of them is bad, so I'm talking about discontinued products like the AY chips or ZED CPUs and that sort of thing. Yeah, just like you say, it's awful to use the lead-free solder. But anyway, for removing chips, chip quick, okay. Well, I think I just use this solder. This is a low temperature solder, so what is it, 270 degrees or something. So it's containing lead. And of course I have to open a window, which I'm doing right now, but it's terribly cold here outside. So I hope I'm not freezing in a minute. So up to the CPLDs, and this I do a lot. I even made a couple of videos about it, which are viewed a lot because people really wonder about how you solder these tiny chips or tiny legs, and it's really not the most difficult thing to do. It's just getting to know the technique a bit and doing it a lot, and then you will improve your skills. Who doesn't like skills? I like skills. Otherwise I wouldn't do this work. Who else is as mad as I am doing 3,000 of these boards by hand, or even more? But it's just about getting there. It's getting to the point that I can start using the pick and place machine, and let's just say it's the first pick and place machine I have here. I don't think it will be the last, because I can imagine that I may need two in the future, or maybe more and another version that has more reels, for example, and is faster. Maybe I don't know. Maybe with better cameras. I don't know. But this one has good cameras already, so I think I will like it. So, and at the moment, let's talk about planning the large planning. So there are only a couple of things that remain in my large planning at the moment, before I can really say I'm doing this for a living completely. One of them is getting the products I promised months ago ready and available, such as the Plus 2A and the Plus 3 power supplies replacements. So that's almost done. I'm not sure if I will put them online tomorrow. I have to check, because there are two people who want one for review and for testing. One of the known people, the Gledel family, already tested the review sample I sent them. But I just want to make sure that it's really working perfectly and doesn't give any issues whatsoever. That's why I always send stuff to a larger group than only one or two. And I also have a closed Facebook group for development purposes and testing purposes, and we have been using that a lot throughout this year and last year. So a couple of people in there who helped me testing new products. Most of the time those are prototypes. So a couple of them have very rare prototypes of, for example, the ZX HD or the Pro 1 DFMC interface and some other stuff. So that's what I try to work with them for, and I really like their enthusiasm and the time for spending on these new products. Unfortunately, none of them has ever blown up the Zen spectrum or any part of it with one of my products, as far as I know. Well, Peter, no, the pick and place machine is still doing nothing. It hasn't been powered on yet, and that's mainly because I'm taking the steps, which takes really weeks, of getting the space here ready for using the machine. So it's not only the machine that needs to be set up, configured, and started using, but it's only the oven that needs to be completed, and I need space for the oven, and I need space for the machine that will control the pick and place machine. And I want to make that a second workplace here in the headquarters, because most probably my wife will operate the pick and place machine in the future. So I'm not taking employees, but if she wants to do that and she can handle it, because she's not that technically minded. But if she can do that, I think she will definitely will have a far more valuable job then. So if she wants to do it and she can do it, then she is allowed. It's up to me. Then she may do it if she wants. She has a job, of course, at the moment, but only part time during when the kids are at school, which at the moment works out quite well, because now that I'm at home almost all the time, it's no problem that she does something outdoor. For example, go swimming with a couple of friends, because I'm home then. I don't have to work outdoors anymore, and I really like it. So I really like doing this. I really like working at home, and one of the things I have to change is stopping with work after dinner. So not like this, but I will get there. And I've tried a couple of times during the last weeks, and I think I really like it. So I will get there how it should be, just working from the morning until dinner, and then stopping. Um, because the kids need my attention as well, and there are so many things I need to do on our home here. So now we need to work on some doors, and we have to finish some things in the kitchen for 15 years now. You know how it goes. But that's what you get when you marry and you get kids, and don't have time for anything else. Really. And then the most stupid thing you can do is start your own business. But it's what I did, and I don't think this is the most stupid idea, because um, I'm sure I will be able to make a living of it. I'm almost there, and I'm working from home, so it would be great if I can make a living from home. And that's something that I wanted for 20 years, even maybe before I started the job where I worked for 17 years. I always wanted to do research and development, so that's what I'm doing. I always wanted to spend time with computers, retro computers, modern computers, doesn't matter. I like all of them. I always wanted to decide my own way of working. And one of the things, and I'm really thinking a lot about that, is one of the things that really is being in my mind for months now. Sometimes, not throughout the whole day, of course. Is how on earth uh, have I been working for a boss for 17 years? If I think back, and how everything went, and how sometimes how I was treated by colleagues and managers, and the misbehavior of them sometimes, some narcissists who were working around there. Uh, but of course, I have many good colleagues. That's not the issue. But I really don't like to be pushed in a direction. I really want to decide myself what I like and what I don't like. And that I think it's kind of my personality, but personality is something I don't know. But it's what I'm doing now. So I think I took the correct decision, and quit my office job, and doing this for a living now. So I hope I made a correct decision. 29 years, wow. Well, HN, I don't want to be a millionaire, really. I don't want to be one. Because if I would want to be a millionaire, then my work will come before my family, and other things I think are really important. And so that's one reason. The second reason is, if you get a million, if you are going to be a millionaire, then lots of other people are um, bothering you, which I don't want to. I want to have a. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not rich, and I really like to doing this way, because I'm not afraid of. Uh, I don't have to be afraid. I want to say, I don't have to be afraid of people wanting to rob me from paintings or something, or expensive cars, or So I don't want to wake up and step out of the door and see my let's think of a cool car. Tesla's not the coolest car. Ferrari or something. Is gone, and only the wheels are left or something, which are expensive as well. But no, I'm happy with what I have, and there are some things that I didn't have much time for during the last 2 years, mainly because of the time the kids take, the attention they need. But I really want to bring them back in my life, which are very important to me. So that's why I want to keep it simple. And I think what I'm doing now is simplifying my life, and doing what I like, and making a living out of it. And that's enough for me. There are other important things than making only money. I don't think it's difficult to to be a millionaire, to get being a millionaire. I think it's, if you want that, then it really shouldn't be doing this like soldering all the day. There are um, more wise things to do with your time than soldering electronics. Um, but this is the way I choose to doing it. The path of going towards making my own living. So anyway, let's get not too philosophical. Um, you know, not from the UK. So if I makes mistakes in my English, then please forgive me. Exactly. I don't want to do more than I can swallow. But I think if you want to be a millionaire, it's not a problem, really. It's just you have to. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to decide what you think is important and what not, because you cannot be a millionaire and spend a lot of time, huge amount of time with your family. You know, I think that's what I think, at least. If you run a business with big teams of people, then you need to be at the business at people, and you cannot stay at home, I think. Wow. I've seen your car, I like it, you know. Alright. Good evening, Patrick. Good evening. Sorry I didn't see you before. I was just focusing on the soldering here. So you have a steady job now for 29 years then, okay. And your third car in 29 years? I don't understand completely. I think I have my fourth car now. I started with a Suzuki Swift, a very small car for a big person like me, and it really swifted over the roads. I remember it was very fast and everything, but it was also very low quality. There was an old version of the Swift, and I don't think the Swifts are that good anyway. But it's at least I think Japanese. It's only Suzuki. Yeah, well, Suzuki's Japanese. Then I bought my first Opel, and then I bought another Opel, and then I bought a third Opel, and I really regret buying any Opel. So after my third Opel, I decided to get back to Japanese and buy a Toyota, and then I have a very good Toyota, which never let me down. Anyway, not like the Opels did, by the way. It's an old one already because I bought it when it was a couple of years old, but I have it now for 10 years or something, maybe. So it's my fifth car, if I'm not mistaken, and it's an Opel. Oh, sorry, it's a Toyota Verso. So a big car because otherwise I cannot steer. Chewing, yes. Yes, I'm making pros, yes. And these are still the first pros, you know. But I'm also already developing the mini pros, the pro minis. And I'm still thinking of which features the pro minis should get. So I think the cheapest one, it was my first intention at least. The cheapest one should get about the same functionality as the current mini, but then with some pro features like auto detection and that will be clock independent. And then the mini, the default mini will have a joystick port and a throughput port, and the mini deluxe will have a case, and all of the mini versions are vertical interfaces, so they're a bit smaller than this one. But the problem is that I think I would like to have the cheapest mini to also have a joystick interface. And the reason for that is that I want to end the old DFMC and Joy interfaces, and the Duo version of that also has a joystick interface. And it's not a vertical interface, of course, but it still has a joystick interface. And and not a throughput interface. So you can compare it to a Mini because the cheap Mini I make doesn't have a throughput interface port as well. So I think you can compare it to that. But the dual interface, the flat horizontal one, does have a joystick interface. So I think if that the Mini will be the replacement, that the Pro Mini should have a joystick interface, or at least there should be maybe two versions, so one with and one without. And what I'm thinking of is making two versions, three versions. It's a bit different than I was talking about last week. So the cheapest one will have the same board as the second cheapest one. So the same board will have the option for the joystick interface, but the cheapest one won't have the joystick plug and chip. And then the slightly more expensive one with the joystick interface will have the joystick interface, but no case and no throughput port maybe. That's what I'm thinking of. And then the Deluxe will have both joystick interface and a case. That's what I'm thinking of. But the problem with the Deluxe will be that if I want also to have it a throughput port, then it's impossible to ship it by letter mail once it's assembled. So what I want to do is just like the ZX HD, send it as a kit that you need to finish with only sliding it in, attaching one screw, and that's it. So that's what I'm thinking of. So it's a bit different than what I was posting a week ago, but I think it's a good alternative. And the cheapest one still will be one PCB, so one vertical PCB. But then with the joystick, or prepared for the joystick interface, and then I can sell it with or without. So that's what I'm thinking of. Good evening, Ron, was it? Who else am I missing? Daihatsu Kura is a small one, man. Ford Fiesta is not the biggest one as well, but it's a bit bigger. 1988. Okay, mine is from mine Toyota Verso now is from 2006, I think, 2005. So it's 13 years old almost, and that's already quite old for a car, but can always be older, of course. And because it's a Toyota, it still looks modern, and it's a good quality car. I hope I can drive it for many years, because I don't drive that much with it nowadays because I'm working from home. So I think it could go on for decades this way if I will keep it in good shape. Maybe I should not have my wife driving it then. She was working in Helmond for a while. She now works in Eindhoven, so near home, and she does lots of that she does by bike, which is good for her health, of course, and also costs a lot less because she wasn't compensated in using the car to Helmond, for example, and it's only throwing away money, you know. So I'm really happy that she works more nearby. She didn't lose any money for that, so it's just good that that's sorted out. Just had to motivate her a bit to talk about it with her boss, to try to find something in Eindhoven here. And I think it's good. So she has a little bit more time now, because she's working a couple of hours less, and also because it's not a half an hour drive to Helmond, and the time she freed with that, she can now spend on assisting me here. So the photo I took this afternoon, or an hour ago, when I was finishing the Harlequin kits, she was helping me. She was handing me over the parts for the kits, resistors, capacitors, you know. And it really speeds up the process. Otherwise, it will take about twice the amount of time. So because she can help with that sort of things, it's a valuable way of spending your time. Unfortunately, it will not make the kits cheaper because we both have to spend time in it. and we have to make a living of it, you know. I wish I could make it cheaper. You know, you guys know that. You guys know that I really want to offer affordable products at good quality. But I also still have to make a living of it. And if I wouldn't ask these prices, and I don't think these prices are ridiculous, then I would not be able to maintain offering these, you know. So that's why I need to ask these prices. And I'm not a millionaire, so you can't blame me for my prices. That I just want to have my own swimming pool or something like that. I wish I had one, of course. It's not a problem. No, Mark is from Vlissingen. He's not from Brabant. It's a province, Brabant. If you, no, I don't know if the guys from Poland and UK know Brabant, but it's the province we live in. And I don't know if I can explain the differences between provinces in the Netherlands. I think that's it's too much to ask from me. Anyway, every province here has its own culture. You can say that. So not by accident that Vlissingen is in Sealand. It's really Sealand. There's a lots of oh man, I forgot a word for haven. Man, what's haven? Help me out. Oh man, what bad? This is bad. Um, oh man, What's haven in English? I have to look it up. Oh man, I'm so bad sometimes. Sometimes I just forget words. No, I'm not old. Harbor, of course. Sorry, harbor. Yeah, sorry. So we then I visited the Zealand a lot in the past. Not that much, but I like going there because of the harbors and the shores, and we have some friends living over there. Oh, we had some friends, by the way. One of those families moved over to Belgium because it's cheaper. Right, next part. But I remember catching crabs on the shores of Middelburg. Or was it Middelburg? I don't know. It was somewhere in Zealand. Zealand. Is it Zealand in English? Is Zeeland actually Zealand in English? Because of course we have New Zealand, but I'm not sure if Zeeland should be translated. I don't know. I just say Zealand. Oh man, I'm so bad. Anyway. Sometimes I like to drive to The Hague. I know that's translated to The Hague. For visiting Scheveningen, which is also a famous shore in Holland here. And it's just great walking there, especially when it's windy, but of course as well when the sun is shining. But when the sun is shining, it's way too crowded in places like that, and I don't want to get over there. Yeah, you're completely right, Mark. Yeah, okay, I know. But I've stayed over in Middelburg when I was maybe 6 or 7 years or something, because my parents traded their houses with a couple of friends for a week. I don't think people do that anymore. um, and oh man, I have some flashbacks now, and I don't remember much of it, but it was a cool idea because doing trade if you have good friends. I just had a flashback of some music I was playing yesterday. My father was a real, still is, I think, a real fan of the Carpenters, Karen Carpenter and brother. And I was playing Carpenters yesterday, one song only, because that voice is so amazing and so emotional that I couldn't play a lot more, but I did play a documentary of the Carpenters, just listening to her story of what happened to her, and it's so ridiculous. It's some singers like Whitney Houston and George Michael and others just passed away and stopped making music, man. It's unbelievable sometimes, if you ask me. Anyway. Sometimes some music I just can't play anymore because it's giving to me too much flashbacks. But I have my turntable, so I actually could play more old vinyl records of things like the Carpenters, for example. But what I found out is that not many people in the community like the Bee Gees. And I really like the music of the Bee Gees. So we all have different tastes, of course. But I really like it, and I like the disco sound of it, But I'm not into disco music. Don't get me wrong. I just like the Bee Gees. And let me see. Okay. You can see how much work this is, guys, and you can see how much time I spend into assembling these boards. But I'm just doing it, and I've done many of those. So at one point you just get on with it and make more. Did I say something wrong? Because no one is chatting. Was it the Bee Gees? Carpenters? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not old. I still feel very young, and I still feel like I'm just starting with everything. Maybe it's my mental issue that can be used for a benefit by just feeling young and staying young. I will never get old. In a good way, of course. Explain the chips here, etc. You're soldering. Okay, let's get back to the chips then. Okay, this I'm soldering 0805 parts. So these are about half the size of the 1206 parts, which are about the most. No, not the most. Which are if you're talking about parts that can be handled by hand. The 1206 parts, so those are 1.2 millimeters long and 0.6 millimeters wide. It can be handled by the human hand easily, well, quite easily, because all S&D parts should be handled by a machine, of course. But these are a lot smaller, and I don't think I will ever do even smaller parts than this one because it would be ridiculous. The machine may be able to do it, but I think 0805 is about the part size I like because they're not consuming too much board space, and it's good to have about one part size as default, so you don't have to change reels that often on the pick and place machine in the future. So currently I'm assembling all the small S&D parts on the boards, and I'm more than halfway now, so in a moment I will continue with the other Roman RAM chips here, and then we can solder the connectors like the SD cards, connector, and the other stuff. But first, let's finish the small SMD parts. I have forgotten one at least. Which one? Here it is. I'm not sure how good you can see it, but I think. I always pre-solder one of the pins on each component, so all the parts have been pre-soldered. Maybe you can show it to you on the. But it's not focusing at the moment. But anyway, you can see some pre-soldering of the parts there, and hope it's clear. Barry Gibb talk show. Did he have a talk show really? Or is it a current talk show, Mark? Well, the pick and place machine will definitely do one board in less than 2 minutes. So I really want to use the pick and place machine. You can imagine that. But setting it up is really not that straightforward. You have to know what the machine does and how it works, and especially this is still a budget machine. You know, it's a $3,000 machine, but it's still budget, which means that sometimes it will stop because it has an error or something, and then and especially in those situations, you must know what you're doing and resolve the problem. And I've read a couple of issues like the way it moves the reels, the parts of the reels, the parts on the reels to the next part is using a pin on the head itself, and the pin will go into one of the tiny holes in the strips, in the tapes, and just move it by force. But sometimes the pin is not placed correctly in the hole and it breaks off. So then you don't have the pin anymore, and then it cannot. I forgot the name. Or advance, of course. Advance to the next part, and then you have to repair that. And some people have been trying to fix the problem once and forever, but it's not very easy. So, of course, you would prefer using a dedicated mechanism to advance every reel, every tape. But this way, how these machines, the budget machines, do it is just cost-effective solution. But so there are more of those oddities of a budget machine like this one, and there's no way of comparing a budget machine like this one with a professional one, because if you look up pick and place machine professionals on YouTube, for example, and you see the amount of violent work those machines do, and it's really not comparable in any way. So professional machines place let's say 50 components in a second or something, and really they're that fast. So they can do a large board, for example, a motherboard of a PC in less than a minute, with a lot more parts than these boards have, and with far better precise. So this is just what I'm doing is just for my living, and it should be enough. I've been doing some calculating, and it should be enough if I just continue making new products in the future from time to time, and put more stuff in the web shop. Oh, here it is. Then I'm okay. And sometimes I'm thinking of just focusing on products that I can do with a pick and place machine to be able to do one wave production at a time, because now I'm doing all kinds of stuff in a week. So I'm doing a lot of manual work, which is really time consuming, and it's also sometimes hard work, if you can call it that. So let me just click accept here. So sometimes I would like to think of doing products by the machine only, and maybe you can compare it to people like it's not the same comparison or something, but I'm thinking of Chris Wilkins, who writes, who designs and writes the Crash magazines and all kinds of other stuff, and you can do that from a computer. He doesn't need anything else, I think. Of course, he needs a team around him, because I just received the annual myself here. I was browsing through it. There's let's see which. Yeah, it is. I was browsing through the annual a couple of hours ago, which is really cool. I'm looking for the page, of course, where the ByteDelight products are. Where is it? Is it more back? No, I think it's here somewhere. Oh, here. This is Georgia, by the way, from China. He lives in China. He's from Serbia, Serbia, I think. So let's get a bit back. Are you mentioned as well, Peter, in the annual or not? I think so. I just haven't checked yet. These are some pages from Simon Goodwin, from the Harlequin Kids, and here are two posts from me, the Divide and the DivMC, and some more information and some other things from Paul Farrow, which is quite cool to see. And let's get back to George again, to the portable ZX Spectrum. I think he's only selling those from his own webshop, isn't he? Because I don't think it's possible or very wise to sell the complete ZX Spectrums with all the replica parts from Europe, because of the copyright owners. I hope your name would be in it. I'm looking for if I can find Peter's website, but it's not here, man. It's too bad. So only Retro Radionox is mentioned here, I think. And ZX Renu should be there, Peter. Haven't you been in contact with Chris, by the way? So the Omni is shown here, mainly. Which is cool. I've seen one from, I think, René. We showed it, I think. Anyway, mine was a bit late as well. I think it took 5 days or something, and most people already had it. Some other stuff came in as well. Let's see. Or also, of course, the Christmas edition of the Fusion magazine is here. I haven't checked it yet. And what I liked was the calendar. I also ordered it, but I'm afraid I cannot show it here, because there's at least Samantha Fox is shown here in the back. Anyway, I'm not a biker or something. I cannot put it here in my headquarters. So some more magazines came in today. For example, the Yoda magazine. So, all right, let's get rid of that. And I really like the Tweakers magazine. I'm a really proud paid subscriber to Tweakers.net, because of course they reviewed the Harlequin kits as well, which was the 40K kit back then. But they have really cool featured stuff here sometimes. So I think the special now is about the racing simulator from someone here, from one of the Tweakers, which is cool. Some space stuff, which I like a lot. I will read that, definitely. Build your own Android car headhunt. Okay, not sure what that's about. Might be cool. And then, whoa, Gaming Live. I almost see some boobs here, but it's just a cosplay girl. Not that special, I think. €25 for the annual is not that much, you know. It's really cool, cool stuff. Mark, you're joking, right? Anyway, Mark is saying I buy the hardware.info magazine, but that's this magazine. It's the same magazine. Come on, Trigus is far better. Trigus is cool. Trigus is the community for the computer enthusiasts in Holland, at least. We'll put the Chris annual on top, of course, because it's far cooler than anything. Okay, let's continue with the boards because I want to finish some of them. Alright, I need some transistors here. And some other transistors. Then I need some capacitors, 10 microfarads. Then I need, by the way, maybe you've seen that my working desk is a bit tilted to myself because this is a lot easier to work with, and maybe I should move it a bit higher because I'm putting my chair down completely when I'm doing this. Jan, good evening. £15 for crash. Why does the other guy say 25 then? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I paid. I just wanted it. Okay, on my chip, 1G66, and the voltage regulator. Yes, 5 pieces. It's just complete then. I'm only forgetting a couple of discrete parts here. Let's do those first. I'm forgetting the red lead. Red lead, man. Red lead. Right, that's a cool. Who doesn't want a red lead? Right. I would also like to talk about PC stuff, but that's not the place for this, I think. But I really like watching lots of tech shows. For example, Gamers Nexus and Jay's 2 Cents and Linus Tech Tips. I really like those channels, and I watch all of the videos that are made available. And Steve is really doing an awesome job of making several videos a day. It's ridiculous how many videos he makes, and all of his videos from Gamers Nexus are professional quality. So he has good scripts for them, and I think he has a team of 4 or 5 people or something that work to create the scripts and film the stuff and edit and put it online. But he's really doing a great job, and what Steve is especially good at is getting in contact with people from Intel and from Nvidia and from AMD, and and if you're into that kind of stuff, then that's really cool who he talks with. And it's one of the few channels that the companies are actually interested in talking with, and it's not the only channel of reviewing new stuff. There are lots of other channels that review new hardware that Nvidia and AMD and Intel and other companies send stuff to, cases and add-ons and all kinds of stuff, monitors, gaming chairs, and But Gamers Nexus is one of the few that companies kind of like to talk with because of the professional level of the website of the channel. Oh yeah, you're right. I switched to the other. Anyway. You mean and that's good evening, by the way. The losing the data from Linus. That's an old one, is it? 2 years ago or something? That he was, the server was crashing or something. I remember that episode. But he really makes a lot of cool stuff. It's just well, it's a serious channel, but it's also a bit funny, the way he's doing it. For example, this week the videos are made available on YouTube. They're also made available on Floatplane before that. And maybe I should get a subscription to Floatplane, but there's no. I think there's no Floatplane only content already, so there's not much use doing that. Except for if you want to be the first to see the new videos. But anyway, this week he started with 2 videos about buying completed desktops, complete machines from a couple of well-known brands. I think HP and I forgot the other names. Anyway, a couple of those brands that he has one of his employees, Yvonne is her name, I think, not his wife, but another one. He has her calling the companies and ordering a PC. And the first episode was about what happens if you call a company and ask for advice. Do you get proper advice, or are they fooling you and asking too much for stuff that's not worth the money or something? Or are they trying to get you buying something that you really don't need? That was the first episode, and the second was the unpacking of the unboxing of the actual bought machine. So he really bought, I think, 5 machines, and he's comparing the build quality and maintainability and from the machines, and things like cooling and some other stuff. And one of the next episodes, he will try to be in contact with customer support to check out what happens if something fails. So that's one of the next videos, as far as I understood. So I'm curious about that. What happened? I'm missing one 10K resistor here. I'm really talking too much. And I'm missing one part. There's a part missing here. Where did I put that in? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Free rate, 5 stripes. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool what he did. I think with the episode of the data that got lost is that he had to contact the company that actually helps him to get the RAID configuration, or how it's called, the RAID setup back working again, which was quite a lot of work. But at the end he manages, and I don't think he lost any data, as far as I know. Cool episode. But there's a lot of other cool stuff there. One of my favorites is the IBM AT desktop that was completely customized to get a water-cooled modern, what is it, 9090 100K or something in it, CPU from Intel, and the cool video card. And he also, I don't know if you've seen the episode, but he also has a special bezel on a TFT screen that makes it look like an original monochrome IBM monitor from back in the days, which is so cool. I really like that episode as well. I forgot who we got it from, so I'm not trying to talk about that. Yeah, you got very lucky with the radar setup, indeed. But I think they're a very professional setup now. But the thing is, the setup they have there in the office is not professional in a way that if you ask a company to do that for you, you will probably get a professional mainframe installed or something with all kinds of extra services you have to pay for. But he just created a very huge array of SSDs, fast SSDs, and also a backup array of lots of hard drives. I'm not sure how much gigabytes got into the setup at the end. But they're doing everything over the network, so all the video files are actually stored on the SSD array, and they do all the rendering on that server instead of on their local machine. So they only do the editing on the machines, which I think is it's quite ambitious, because you would think that the network would delay the things a lot, but it's not. So they do the editing completely on the servers, so nothing on local machines. Of course, only the drive running the Adobe Premiere software and that sort of thing. Anyway, okay. Some of the stuff that Linus uses is indeed has been given by companies for reviews, and he's reusing that. But I also think that he put some money in it himself, and for the editing team. And I think Linus Media Group is now 20 people tall, something. I think they got about 20 employees, and I think that's just enormous for YouTube streaming company. So he's doing a great job, and he's really caring about the employees. So he makes sure that they will get, they will still have work, whatever happens. He's trying to do that. Of course, that's what he says. I'm not sure about the details, but it seems they also have lots of strategic meetings. And that's one of the reasons, I think, why Floatplane came to life, because you never know what happens to YouTube, you know. For example, the silly 4,000 in viewing hours and 1,000 subscribers thresholds that got up this year, which really may have ruined it for many people who wanted to try or start with YouTube, and well, you have to either make a plan of just putting on videos for a couple of months or maybe years until you're over the threshold, or maybe you have some viral video that you uploaded that's viewed a couple of million times in a day, and then you're on the you're there in just a short time, you know, just a couple of thousand subscription clicks and a couple of hours, minutes viewing for a million people. That will count up quickly. But it's not the way I think I will get there. Maybe if I will do very odd things like making videos of using a ZX Spectrum somewhere on the edge of a bridge or something, or flying in the air on a parachute or something. Maybe then I will get more views. Building an 8 GPU machine to cook dinner for giggles. You mean? Oh, wait, we have to read more there. Well, Owen, I think Linus now has a very robust setup when it comes to this network and the server facilities. But I think I like the way he's doing it, because I like to think of it in the same way. I never want to just use things that are common. I want to think myself, is that efficient? Is that logical? Is that the way that I would think of it myself, for example? And if it's not, then I just won't do it. that's why I don't have my job anymore. No, I didn't get fired, you know. It was the right moment to say goodbye to that company. For me, not for anyone else, just for me. Should we have a Discord in the future, maybe, so we can just chat during the show, so I can look at my soldering iron all the time and not at what happens on the chat, maybe? Yeah, indeed, Owen. Some of my relatives uh, and some friends, quoting friends, um, sometimes say to me, "Why are you still working with those ridiculously old machines?" And I don't have anything to say to those kinds of questions because, of course, I agree that these machines are old, and there's not a billion market for them or something. But I think, for one, that there are plenty of more people that are interested in this stuff than some people may think. So some people think, oh, there are only a couple of dozens or maybe hundreds of people that are still interested in old computers. They of course they say old computers because, of course, they got new MacBooks and whatever. Um, Good for them. Nothing against Apple, by the way. Well, maybe. I once got one small iPad and I sold it. Anyway, but I don't dislike Apple. It just doesn't feel like using them for any reason. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. I digress. What was I talking about? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, old computers. Yeah, I was talking about old computers. So people sometimes say that to me, um, and even try to imagine that you see something that you haven't seen for a couple of years, and the first question they ask is, Ben, are you still using those old machines? And they ask it in a way that they don't approve you doing that. And I think it's kind of disrespectful. I think like that now. I didn't think it like it back then. But anyway, I don't like to be bad about what people think. I just think, okay, you have your opinion, no problem. I don't want to feel bad about it. But asking that question only and nothing else, you know. Anyway, but as it turned out, there are millions of people. There are just millions of people that still like retro electronics, retro computers, retro record players, retro televisions, retro what else? Retro cars, of course, all kinds of stuff. And it also turns out that people now have the possibilities, the money, the ways of finding other people um, to use and get obtain those old machines again if they want to. From people like me and Iron Gledel and who else offers those machines um, anywhere, and add-ons and all the stuff. And um, I don't think I think that the term retro is something from the last 10 years maybe. Of course, the term exists for a lot longer, but the category retro is really accepted now. It's something that you can talk about with everyone if you want to. And joy. Well, What I think is retro is reliving what you liked the most when you were young. And there's more about it. There's much more about that because, for example, when you think of what happened in the 80s, was that what I see in documentaries from time to time is that people think that in the 80s everything was possible, everything in the world was going towards a good way, everyone was working out well, and people thought that we could solve any problem. That's not what I thought back then, but that's what people thought. And so that's what in that time I think many people um, really liked working with the new stuff that was invented, like computers and all kinds of stuff. Um, but after that, we grew up, we got older, we got our jobs, we got our families, and maybe especially our jobs, some from time to time, didn't give the satisfaction that people were expecting, maybe. And then you, in 20 years later, maybe 30 years later, um, you think, well, where did I get the most fun out of in my life? And for many people, that was the consoles or the home computers or something like that. And there's nothing against it. Why is there something against it? There's nothing against it. Why should I have? Why should I only use a PC or a PlayStation for playing games? Or or even, why shouldn't I play games anymore? Come on, man. If you have kids, it's especially good to play the PC games or console games with your kids, because then you know what they're doing with the machines, and not being. For example, my son had a my son was asked to everyone in his class, by the way, was asked to prepare something to talk about, to speak about, present. I mean, to present something about sexting, because he's 12 now, and the teenagers must be warned about all the um, dangers with those kinds of things. And why am I saying this? Well, I'm saying this because it's important to keep in contact with your kids, what they're doing, especially in social media. So it would be ridiculous if there would be a gap in using or playing games, or um, using computers nowadays for cool entertainment. Why shouldn't you be able to do that? Come on, should it be someone that is um, old and grumpy? Should it be I don't know. What do people expect? Why should you do what people expect? Of course, I want to be respectful to people, but I don't want to do. I don't want to live exactly to what any human says to me. Um, Come on, man. You can choose your life. I can choose mine. But anyway, that's why I think retro is completely accepted right now. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's not something that is questionable, is it? Is retro gaming something that could be questionable anyway? Like, uh, I don't, I will never go into politics, by the way, but some things that are questionable, for example, are the yellow, what is it, yellow shirts things that are going on in France mostly. I think that's questionable. I will not say anything about it myself, but anyway, retro computing is not questionable, is it? So why are people questioning my way of spending time? Okay, maybe in a couple of years ago, um, they thought that was only wasting time, and nowadays I just make money with it. It's different, and it's not everyone is making money of it. I know some people, like some people like a hoarder in Zwitserland. Is he on? uh, is may have some. No, anyway, he's making money of it as well. There's no problem. He's it's totally it's cool. It's really fun when we're trying to bid on something on Marktplaats, one of the auction sites in Holland here. We're trying to respect each other. That's one of the most important things. But of course, we both like to have the cool stuff. So um, sometimes we're bidding against each other, but we often give up very quickly. So we don't want to get into the problems, you know. That's a cool thing. I think. Let me just say one thing. What I think is the best of this work and the people that are involved in the community, that is that almost no one, almost no one, almost no one. I should be careful what I say. Almost no one is making a problem um, with something that they buy or that they sell. They just um, want to have a good time with other people in the same community. Of course, there are a couple of exceptions, and I don't like to talk about them any because I try to ignore the bad things that happen from time to time. I don't like to talk about it a lot. I don't like to think a lot about it a lot because I really don't understand why people are trying to make the community behave badly. I don't know what comes into their minds. Anyway, I just don't know. I just don't know what people think of trying to get into a fight or something. Ah, man, really stresses me. So I just don't. But I really like this community because people are really cool to talk with, and of course, just like myself, sometimes they are a bit hard in trying to get in contact with because I'm an autistic person, so I'm not the most easy person to talk with in normal life. This is different. But I think this community is just the people are so nice, man. Come on, and even if they're only guys in the community, they're still very nice. Well, it's just what I think, you know. Yeah, the AAA games. Well, what's AAA? You know, um, if there were only shooters, and the shooter games would run in 500 hertz frames per second or something, and in HDR color, and you could fly in the games with your eyes closed, and I don't know what else, VR, and you know, then still you could question if shooters are if that's the living you want to have. Anyway, I like playing games. I even like to play shooters from time to time, but um, um, last week when I was playing with the Odroid, I played Tetris again. And man, I had such a great time playing simple Tetris, you know. Come on, man. There's nothing against retro computing. Really. Oh, by the way, the Crash Annual came with the complete Saberwolf map. So I'm afraid I have to dig into Saberwolf again. And I think I did it about a year ago. I played, completed Saberwolf in, what is it, 2 hours or something like that. But it's such a cool game, and if you have the map on paper, it's even more easy, of course, to find in all the places where the pieces of the puzzle could be. I just think for nowadays, Saberwolf will be way too short to play because it's not the most complex game to play, of course. I even think that some people will have the maps in their minds. Yeah, that's what I like about retro machines as well. They're you can understand them completely if you want to, and it's completely different with modern PCs, for example. And still, I like using Windows. Last week, for example, I was setting up some virtual networks here because I wanted to um, make sure that my work network cannot be accessed by a virus from my kids' machines, for example, which are on the same physical network. Anyway, after I set it up, I was having problems, or I was thinking of how I could connect to some servers from my work from my machines downstairs, because I just uh, created two virtual networks, so I could not access one from another. But I found a way, and what I think is cool about Windows, for example, is that you can do so many things from command prompt or shell. So if you want to get into that, it's just some scripting, and you can make things possible with the click of a button, you know. So that's what I like about Windows as well, and of course you can do that on Linux, you can do that on Apple, iOS, but I like Windows. I don't really don't understand why some people don't like Windows and prefer Apple. Of course, people who don't want to spend time on maintaining their machines, those will not like Windows, because still Microsoft with Windows. I have the feeling that they still expect the user to be able to maintain their computers, and that's not the case anymore for many people. Many people are just users. Many people are not computer experts or something, or enthusiasts, many people are just users, simple users. And simple users are boring. And I can say that here because I know that everyone who's watching is not a simple user. You cannot call yourself a simple user if you're using retro machines, if you ask me. You must at least have a soldering iron, and you must at least have some screwdriver sets and other stuff if you are using a retro computer. I think. Hitman 2, yeah, I can understand that. Well, Tetris is really a lot of fun, man. Come on. Try to do a Tetris challenge with your friends, for example. Who gets the highest score? It's a lot of fun. So one of my goals from last week with the Odroid was reaching what is it? 100,000 something. I think the score, and I reached it, and I even got up to 130,000 or something. I don't know. Check it. But it really has the same experience like an original Game Boy, the old ones. So that's what I liked about the Odroid, and I'm not ready with it yet because I played a couple of other games like oh man, I forgot the name. For example, Boulder Dash, and what was it called? Oh, come on, man. The issue, of course, with the Odroid is that it only runs snapshots at the moment. Nothing more. So not much. Not many games will run. What was the name of the game that was hard to play on Odroid? With those ninja, the ninja game. Oh, come on, man! I forgot the name. I can see the picture, but I don't know the name. I forgot the name. Yeah, 48K, yeah. Saboteur, of course, yeah, thank you. Saboteur, I was playing that on Odroid, and it worked, but it's too hard because, for example, the ladders you have to climb on, you have to really stand exactly underneath them, and that's hard on a small screen like on Odroid. But still, the screen the colors of the screen are quite acceptable, and if it would be bad, like I have some tablets which I use for reading some stuff, but not more than that, and you have to really sit exactly in front of them and those are bad. But the screen of the Odroid is not bad. I even ordered some cheap Chinese phones a couple of months ago. I still have them here behind me to review them because I like trying budget new stuff from time to time to see if it's worth anything. But after unpacking them and even shooting some videos, I decided not to bother because they were so bad, man. So if you buy a smartphone for 30 euro or something, you get a smartphone for 30 euro. It's not more than that. And what I expected maybe is to at least have some kind of decent screen, but I was quickly aware that that's not possible for those prices. And the same maybe for tablets, because I noticed that you can now buy tablets, 7-inch for example, for only 30 euros from China. With Android 7 or something, so modern version of Android. And I wonder if it's any good, but my experience with those smartphones is no, it's not any good. And most probably they are filled with malware and other stuff. So maybe it's not a good idea to use them on your network at home. So anyway, I have a couple of Chinese phones, so I have 4 Xiaomi Mi 4Cs. Yes, I have 4 of them, because I really think these phones can now be bought for 60, 70 euros second hand, and they're still okay, especially if you replace the battery. And the kids play about all games on them. There's not even one game that won't run on the Mi 4C. So that's why I bought 4 of them during the last 2 years, and GPS and Google Maps and everything works just perfectly. I think it's not a high-end phone, but it's good enough, and the camera's decent. So that's why I have 4 of those. Why pay for a flagship phone if you can have 4 for the same price or even less? Anyway, you know what happens if you give your kids good phones, you know? Then they will ask for a new one every year. No, the Odroid is not going to affect production rates. Wow. No. No. Come on, man. Can I have some time off as well? No, you can't. Work, man. Work. Make our products. We give you our money. Do work for us. Anyway, okay. Well, I will do some SD card sockets and then we'll finish it off and get to the kids. Don't you think this is fun? Look at the parts. It's just like Lego, you know. And I have so many crates of these with these parts now. So everything here is it's a DIY kit, you know, like the ZX HDs and everything. I have even more. Jim does more. Look at this. Look, I have the KMOS interface here. Oh, can I show them on camera? Yeah, just yeah. To be careful not throwing them. So I have the KMOS. I have the different machine minis. I have the ByteDelights. Look at camera. ByteDelights. They're almost finished, but I made one today because it had to go out. So, oh man, it's so much fun, you know, just building things. How much more fun do you want in your life? And people are paying me for that, you know. They're paying me for doing this. They're paying me for making ridiculous videos. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, otherwise you guys will all leave. Some people have left already. And even I even do get dislikes these days. I did not get any dislikes in the beginning, but I do get dislikes now. So I wonder who it is. Who would it be? Would it be indeed be someone from the community, or would it be a hater? I don't know. I feel pity for them who dislike my videos. But if you want to, you can. Just press dislike, you know. It's your opinion. you're allowed. I wonder in a couple of years if I ever manage to get, for example, 100,000 subscribers, for example. If I'm deleting all of these crappy videos from back then. Maybe not. It's actually tomorrow. But you knew that, Akim, because we talked about it. Tomorrow is another meeting here in Maarten, as far as I know. But it's organized by the Hobby Computer Club, and then the community. The Commodore user group. But they call themselves the Commodore Interest Group nowadays, because they're spreading their wings to gather people from all kinds of retro computer interest things. And I don't think there are Sinclair specific meetings in Holland anymore. I don't think. Maybe there are in Friesland, for example, in the north, because I know that there were some people still meeting from back then. I want to say, and of course we have some people from what's the guy's name? Who still organizes the Sundays, Retro Computer Sundays. I forgot his name. Sorry. But it's not the same as a meeting in a building or something. He just does that at his home, I think. What is his name? I don't know. But you can imagine, Akim, that I must really be careful with the time, because my focus is on producing and selling hardware now, because I need to do that for a living. And if I would have time, then yeah, of course, I would like to visit more meetings. But I think in the future I will visit 1 or 2 meetings in Holland each year. And I will also want to head over to some UK meetings and some German meetings and some Portuguese meetings. For example, the Lisboa Game Week, where Ricardo with a Retro Computer Shop is having a great time for 3 days, I think. And there are more things I want to attend, but to be honest, my wish goes out to spending time with my own family a bit more than I'm doing now. So I have to be careful with what I'm planning, because there's lots of other things to do in personal life, you know. So I have to be careful. Work and fun, of course, is important, but my family is more important. So that's why I have to be careful, and definitely will not just visit every meeting that is being held. And I don't think anyone will do that, except for the people who organize it, of course. But I think there are more and more Sinclair people going to the meetings in Maarsen. So I bet there are a couple of people going tomorrow. Not sure who. No, oh man, what's it called? I don't know. I do take my products and sell them at the meetings, but most of the time, check my last stream from Maarsen from 2 months ago. Most of the time, just repairing stuff, or sorry, Mark, killing stuff. That was an accident. Still to repair yours. And instead of only selling things there, it's not like a marketplace or a fair, you know. It's a meeting. It's different. So I'm going to switch off the soldering iron for now and show you the progress. So all the chips are on, and the discrete parts are on, and my checklist says I now have to do the edge connector, which I don't have in stock because I have to prepare them tomorrow. Then I have to do the SD card at the bottom. Then I have to add the tactile switches, the clicky things here, and the dip switches and the joystick connectors, of course. And then these are finished, but that's for tomorrow. So I'm doing 5 in 1.5 hour, 2 hours, something like that. And of course they have to be programmed at the other side of the room and finished there and boxed. And so about 2 hours for 5 by hand. And with the pick and place machine that will be a lot more. And of course I still have to do something by hand, such as the edge connector. But I can't wait doing that on by the pick and place machine in the future. So I'm going down, guys, and thank you for helping me spend this time on this work, and I really liked it. And I was noticing why the colors are off on my screen, but it's because it's 9 o'clock. It's over 9 o'clock here, and my night filter from Windows already popped in, so everything is looking a bit more yellow instead of blue, which is normal. I think it's cool that Windows does that if you want to. All right. Nice. Okay, so people can enjoy your Rainbow Harlequin 128 tomorrow, Akim. That will be great. Are you on Facebook, by the way? Because if you are, then please announce that you're going to Marsden tomorrow, so people will know. There are at least 3 large Sinclair Facebook groups. So if you're on there, then please announce it so people can decide if they want to come to Marsden as well tomorrow. So, nice meeting you, Akim, and we'll speak to you later, and meet you all, guys, maybe next Friday on the next ByteDelight Weekly Show. So this wasn't a ByteDelight Weekly Show, this was just another session, but I liked it a lot. Well, we spent over 2 hours, man. So thank you, and we'll see you later, guys. Bye.